Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Farming Simulator 19, Last Frontier, episode number 8. We are ready to conduct our very first harvest. It's amazing how quickly the turnaround is when Seasons is not turned on. But let's go ahead and get ourselves off and rolling on this one. Yeah. You're missing something here. Hoshish. Aha! So we take our tiny little New Holland and we go ahead and get started here. This is a very small field. It's not going to take us long to harvest this at all, and I wouldn't be surprised if a single load is all we make from this New Holland capacity wise. But we'll knock this one out, and then we have a couple little projects to do as we go and replant. There's 2 or 3 things that I'd like to do immediately. So one trip was 6%. This field's small enough that I don't think we need to worry about any headland. Now our yield's not going to be fantastic by any means because we have so many weeds in this field. It is very, very thick with weed. So one of the short-term projects is to get a sprayer so that we can start using herbicide and clean these fields up for future harvests. One of the other short-term projects is right in front of me, beside the road up here after the edge of this field, and with a little bit of clearance anyway to get beyond the field itself. I do want to get a small storage shed. It's all there's space for. That big rock formation here just up to my right will get in the way of doing anything more than a small one. That'll at least give me a little more storage space for some of the machinery we have now, and especially as we go to accrue new machinery, it makes total sense to actually have a place to store that machinery, because that one small shed obviously is not getting the job done, and we're using the Bale shed as overflow and still not even close to filling or being able to place all of our even current equipment, let alone the fact that we're about to buy more. So 2 times back and forth has given us 22%, which means we're going to just about fill up after 8 times back and forth, and I think that would be the end of the field. I mean, you look at it, we're probably a quarter of the way now. So just about one load is all it's going to take to get through this small field. But it'll at least provide us with a little bit of payout, something worthwhile. I may store it, I may not. I'm going to check on what the crop price is on the wheat. If it's worthwhile, we may sell it right away. We obviously do need money to progress in this game, and while we do have more crops stored away in the silo, and we actually might combine this with that. And then just kind of do the math on what the harvest was worth. That's one option to consider. Kind of see what we end up with trailer load wise. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near a full trailer load. I mean, generally you can get 3 to 4 harvester loads into one trailer load, meaning we're not going to be even close to full. It's amazing that it's only day 2 in game. It's that first time that I haven't run seasons on a map, and it's just awkward to me. I'm used to waiting months. So I was thinking about doing something, and I'd like your input to see if it is something you would be interested in. Now, I know this series, and I know that farming sim as a whole on my channel, well, I'm very new to farming sim on this channel. I've only been doing it for a few weeks, and I have not generated the audience relative to the size of my channel, relative to what my typical audience is, or anywhere near what the typical farming sim channel has in terms of audience. So I know I'm not talking to a whole lot of viewers right now, but regardless of that point, I would like your input. Comments below on an idea that I'm working with. So Twitch is not something that I normally use. I ran Twitch for a little while, but unlike recording for YouTube, simultaneously recording and streaming, or even just streaming and not recording, that immediate upload has a very different effect on your computer hardware than just recording as you play. And even though I have a very nice custom built PC, it's not a new custom built PC at all any longer. It's oh gosh, what am I pushing, 4 years now, or 3 or 4 years old this summer, and I haven't upgraded any of the parts, not hardware parts anyway, in that time. I'm really close to starting that process, but as for that piece anyway, Twitch can create a bit of lag and lower my FPS in all but the lowest spec games. So there are games out there that I can run on Twitch, no issues whatsoever. But there are certain games that I can't run on Twitch at all without considerable lag, and makes it not worthwhile to do. That being said, the idea that I'm working with, and like I said, I haven't been on Twitch in a long time as a streamer. I had gained some followers and been dueling that with this in the early days of this channel. It's been more than a year since I've streamed. I was thinking about getting into map modding and doing so as a live stream thing on Twitch. I think it would be a great way to help build the audience here, primarily for YouTube, not as anything, not as a big goal on what I would like to do. Oh, nice! I already hooked up. I did already hook up. Go me. Pull the cover off and go pull up beside. And I'm actually gonna wrap around the other way to do so. Anyway, I'd like to do the map modding, and I already have an idea that I generated back in late FS15 or early FS17 days on a mod that I had kind of started working on, but I just didn't understand how to use the equipment. And that's the thing. It would be a learning tool as much as anything else. So by doing it live on Twitch, I can get a lot of immediate feedback to progress and learn how to do it properly and make it happen. And I think it would be cool to show it, as opposed to how, as far as I know, all the current modders simply, just 18% is all we managed. Let's go ahead and hop over back to the harvester and get this thing out of here. Fold it up. And this one I'm going to park right back where it was. It's a deep shed. It's a good place for the harvester. And probably the trailer. I'll keep these two items in here, and then I'm going to be moving a lot of the other items to the new shed. Let's see just how tight it is in here compared to other places. Have I given myself enough space on that header? I'm not sure I have. Oh, over the top. But now, close to the corner here. There we go. Can I get it back around? I can! Okay, well, there you go. Alright, well, she's slightly dirty, but that was definitely not a difficult job. Quick and easy. We have our first harvest, albeit a very small load. In fact, I'm going to make a quick note here. 3878 of wheat. This is where we would unload it, but instead of unloading, we're going to take the wheat we have here. Okay, 13,752. We'll break that down as a percentage. Let's go ahead and put the cover back on, and we're gonna go sell some wheat and see what that does for us. That does clean out. Actually, hold on. Before we do so, let's actually make sure that the price is not terrible. This is wheat. Yes, this is wheat. 600 exactly. Not great on the price, but oh yeah, and I don't get, there's no seasons menu, so there's no visible variation to market that I can compare where we're at price wise. So we'll just take the store, get what we get at 600 per thousand. So pay out decently well. $8,000 to $10,000 anyway. Really isn't that great. We'll get what we get for it. Anyway, let me know in the comments below if you think it's worthwhile, and if that's something you would like to see. I'm not an expert in modding. I do not have the extreme experience in it. I've dabbled just a little bit in it, and just a little bit in programming. I mean, it's very, very basic stuff compared to others out there. $8,263. Yeah, that's not much. That is not much. No wonder the harvests come quick. Of course, it is a tiny, tiny field, like I said. I'm not worried about the straw swath of this one, so we're going to go straight into cultivating and re-prepping the field for the next harvest. I'm going to quickly do this in time-lapse, and then before we move on to the next project, we'll come back real quick, and you'll see one of those short-term goals in action. before I take this cultivator back to just random open space, I think it's time that we go ahead and find a proper place to store this. So again, there's a handful of sheds, including a big warehouse. There are useful pieces of equipment here, but with the current space that we have, and realistically the budget we're kind of working with, that harvest that we just completed will essentially go to buying this. And you can see it does fit in here. And so as we kind of look around, there's space this way to put some things. I would love to fit it right here, but it doesn't, or here, but it doesn't. I don't want to get too close to this field, and we can't go this way, so these rocks are definitely in the way. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and open this up to the road. And let me make sure I can actually see that we're lined up properly. And we want to go back as far as we can with this, away from the road a little bit. And that looks almost perfectly straight. There we go. Alright, we're also going to do just a little bit landscaping wise to bring the road through this grass area. And I have not used this before. I would tab over to painting. I want to sculpt. Alright, so we get our first little shed here. Got some room to store some more equipment. And we're going to do our harvest, our planting equipment lined up here. So I will be squeezing the plow in here as well. We'll get the cultivator here. And then as we use up the equipment, we'll put it here. So we've got the baling stuff right across from us, or at least front loader and trailer. And we definitely still have other equipment to get put away, but it's a start. Next up, we're just about ready to seed and plant. But I have that big question, that second piece. Do I want to go ahead and get a sprayer and load it up and take care of this field so that we don't have the weeds issues that we had, because our yield was really low on that. I mean, we barely got paid out. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the front loader and head up to the store, and I'll see you there. Alright, so we've arrived at the store, and what we want to get this time is we're going to get our crop protection taken care of. We're going to start small, just this Delta's 1302 MTA3, but it has a 21 meter spread, so it's super, super quick. So will be just about the easiest job that we have, but it's going to make a huge difference taking all those weeds out. As you can see, we were getting to 100% on the weeds, and that's bad. So this will be herbicide. So herbicides can be used in sprayers to remove weeds. That's 2,000. How much was the capacity? 1,300. So one will be enough to fill the tank and have some excess for later. Brings us back down to 42,000 on the balance, but this also just about completes the necessary network of items, having kind of a little of the everything, the basics that you need to get the farm up and going and at least increase the yield a bit. Looks like PTO is hooked up. No hoses. There's one other thing I want to do before I leave the shop. Fill up the tank. There we go. It's only 115. It's just got a really small tank on it. So we'll go ahead and bring that back to the farm. We'll load it up once we get there. And then we're going to spray the field before we go ahead and plant. That way we don't provide any unnecessary crop destruction. The seeding and fertilizing, spreading, I'm going to be doing that one off camera. We're going to move on to whatever the next crop is on the list. We did wheat first time. I think we did barley on the north field. I got to double check that, and if we did, we'll go to the next one, which is oat. If we did canola up there, then I'll go ahead and do barley. But I will replant that one, like I said, off camera. What we're doing now will end up being the final piece of this episode. And as the sprayer is something for a field setup, I suppose it'll go after the cultivating. So we're going to park this pallet here in the back. Ugh, this game sometimes. Let go. Let go. There you go. No. I want you to let go. There. I will remove the front loader later. For now, it can work as a counterweight on the front. Yeah. So herbicide should do the trick without having come back later. Double check how we look in the field. Yeah, weed is at 0% now because we just cultivated. We'll see if it stays that way or whether that spraying job actually does need to take place later, but of course it's going to be very quick, very easy on this field. It's already lowered. Go ahead and unfold. Okay, it's going to take 2 passes. Just down and back. Yeah, see, I'm not actually even seeing any difference in the ground right now. We're going to complete it anyway. I mean, we've used 3%, so we'll end up having used just 10% of this by the time we get back to the end of the field. Oh, I'm upside down. Wrong button. I'm definitely not making a 3rd pass to try to get the last foot or 2. This will be it. So like I said, I don't even see a difference on the field. It may have to take place after planting before it'll do anything, or even after the first growth stage. But like I said, for just 10%, it's worth it to try. But that takes care of that. We're going to get this planted, and it'll be ready to go for the next one. Get that lowered back down. And there you go. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe, everybody. Bye for now.